Hey, in this battle I'll show you how not to use a chariot against Rome. The random number generator gave me the Seleucids. I have a chariot, 3 citizen cavalry, a gamma cavalry, archers, 4 Syrian heavy archers, 4 thorax swords, and 4 Thurio spears. My opponent has 7 armored legionaries, 2 auxiliary Syrian archers, and cavalry consisting of auxiliary cavalry, 2 of those, and a Praetorian cavalry. That's it, that's his entire army. So pretty strong infantry corps, but I'm feeling confident because I have my chariots to deal with it. Now most of my other units are going to really struggle against 7 armored legionaries. Thorax swords are no match, Thurio spears are no match, the Syrian archers, if they get rear or flanking shots with heavy shot they can do a lot of damage, but it's going to be difficult because these guys can use attacking testudo. Going to keep my chariot hidden for the time being, and maybe you've already noticed, but there is one crucial part of this battle that you don't usually see that I have completely overlooked, and it's going to come up to bite me in the ass hard. Very hard. I'm just moving my guys around, moving up. It's clear that my opponent is going to be camping on this hill, and that should be the first giveaway that something is up. So you can see something else here. These are not just your standard rock formations, these are traps. They are spike traps. So this is why my opponent is camping here. He has put traps in the forest. And look at this. He has put these Scythed Chariots in his flanks. So I didn't notice them because people usually don't use them in multiplayer battles. I think my opponent here is a pretty new player, so I'm not going to say anything bad about a player using an option that's available in the game. I should have seen these, but I just didn't think about it. So shooting at this legatus for a bit, or her legatus, could be a girl as well, and I'm going to take this engagement with his Syrian heavy archers. And one of the other reasons why I'm saying my opponent probably is a new player is because my opponent is using these wedge or flying wedge formations at the onset with his cavalry, and is also using flaming shot against me for no reason. He might have been preparing for elephants, I don't know, but here I'm just sending in my chariots thinking that I will be able to just wreck this Roman line. They are in attacking testudo, and I should be able to just plow through everything here and destroy the infantry. Oh wait, I'm losing 4 chariots to these. Here I honestly didn't understand what was going on. Was it friendly fire? Was it javelins? I've never seen chariots die this quickly before, but I haven't really run chariots through Scythed Chariots. So they took a lot of damage. They're able to move through the auxiliary cavalry. They're able to move through, but as you can see, they already lost 2 chariots. They lost a lot of momentum, and I'm having a really hard time gaining the momentum back because I'm being swamped by these cavalry units. And my chariots took a lot of damage, so they're going to get stopped and they're going to get destroyed very quickly indeed. So I'm not really able to move through the side of my opponent here. My chariots died with getting something like 14 kills. Maybe a bit more since they get kills when they are routing as well, but that's probably the worst use of chariots in the history of the game. And these guys totally screwed me over. I didn't see them, so yeah. Now it's up to my band of mediocre troops to finish these elite armored legionaries. I'm fairly confident I can do it, but still sucks to lose a chariot and only get like 10 or 20 kills. Pretty horrible. So I'm not going to waste ammunition on shooting at the front of these armored legionaries, obviously. I'm going to kill his archers. I'm basically going to try to kill everything that can hurt me and that can limit my mobility, and that includes these auxiliary cavalry and the Praetorian cavalry. I'm also going to get some shots off on his legatus. I want to kill everything that's mobile so I can herd these armored legionaries, kite them, bait them, getting some heavy shot in just to see how many guys I can kill, and there was quite a few actually. But changing focus of the fire to these auxiliary Syrian archers, They should go down fairly quickly, and there they are dead. So moving his auxiliary cavalry towards my flank, but running them back. And I've got a hidden archer unit over here for the late game, just in case. Going to bring that one out soon. And again, my opponent is just basically mirroring my movements, going on the offensive, trying to stay away from these units' caltrops as much as possible with my cavalry. Shooting at his legatus is dying, and I don't want to use my Threos on the front of these armored legionaries, because if I spend all my missiles on the front of the legionaries, that could very well cost me this game. I'm not going to be able to grind through all of these armored legionaries, they're going to destroy me in melee. Praetorian cavalry in the forest, still I'm going to get some shots off on them, and this is going to be important for later to reduce their hit points. As you can see, I was managed to kill a lot of Praetorian cavalry there, 19 Praetorian cavalry, so that unit is going to be a lot less effective when it gets into melee with some of my troops. I'm going to do the same with his auxiliary cavalry, and now all of his cavalry units are depleted, so happy about that. My cavalry should be able to deal with them quite nicely. So now I'm just trying to get some flanking shots off on these armored legionaries. My opponent decides he's had enough. So I'm just going to see which unit I can get the best angles and the most kills on. So pretty decent here, into the flanks of these armored legionaries, trying to get into the flanks of these armored legionaries. And what I'm going to do when my opponent approaches here is I'm just going to pull back the Thurios, move the cavalry around the side, and then I'm going to charge with my thorax swords. So thorax swords into these armored legionaries. The armored legionaries did get a charge because they had attack orders on the Syrian heavy archers. They didn't get a charge here because they were in attacking Testudo, and they didn't get a charge here. So already I'm doing fairly well in this engagement. Over here as well, his Praetorian cavalry dying to my Gema cavalry. Auxiliary cavalry is dying to citizen cavalry. It is much stronger than citizen cavalry, but I have the numerical superiority here, and I've managed to deplete his units beforehand, and that's going to be very important. So instead of shooting at the front of these guys, I'm going to go for flanking shots, and I'm also going to just move behind because as you can see, my thorax swords are losing the engagements, especially the thorax swords that are up against 2 units, they're getting slaughtered. So I'm going to move my Thurios around and start throwing javelins into the backs of these armored legionaries. Most of his cavalry is dealt with. A unit of armored legionaries is moving in to help, so I'm going to charge it and then pull away. Most of my archer units are out of ammunition, but the ones that do have ammunition, I'm trying to fire. Oh, look at that, that was pretty cool. Threw a guy over his shield there. So my Thurio spears are moving in to throw javelins at the rear of these armored legionaries, and doing that is going to kill them very quickly indeed, compared to shooting at their fronts. So volleys coming in here, and armored legionaries are falling quickly. With 95 armor, you kind of have to, and with good shields, you kind of have to get into the rear or get flanking shots off. So this unit is close to dead. This unit is getting there, and when my Thurios are out of ammunition, I'm going to charge them in. Cavalry is dead. Now my opponent is down to this last armored legionaries, so things are starting to look pretty good for the Seleucid army. Able to get in rear charges on depleted units, which is also good. That means that even crappy Thurio spears are going to be able to do some damage, especially when they are able to surround armored legionaries like this and get help from their friends. So my thorax swords pretty dead, but they managed to hold for a crucial amount of time in their shield walls, and that is going to allow me to wrap up this game. And of course, losing the chariots in the manner that I lost them is both unexpected and pretty devastating for a Seleucid army that is basically all mid-level units aside from 1 unit of Agema cavalry. It could have potentially been a fatal blow to the Seleucids, but fortunately I was able to edge a victory out here. Had 17 kills on the chariots. That's the saddest chariot in existence. My archers did well. My thorax swords can't really compete with these armored legionaries at all. Thurio spears did extremely well by getting around to the side and to the rear. So overall, most of my units got some kills aside from these chariots. So it's something that I'm going to be on the lookout for in coming quick battles. I've never seen, well, I've seen someone use these defensive emplacements once before, but it's not very common, and they can absolutely wreck cavalry that runs over these soon as caltrops. So thanks for watching, and maybe that was the random faction generator gods punishing me for using a chariot. I never use a chariot, and this one time that I tried, thought I tried to use a chariot, they run over soon as caltrops. So maybe there's some divine justice at work here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on the battlefield.